This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Years ago, I spent months making a fully beaded version of the famous strawberry dress, and today, I'm ripping it apart. Because the dress I made kinda sucked. First of all, it has ripped several times. The skirts don't sit right, they always bunch up and look weird. I'd never installed a zipper, and most importantly, it's itchy. I spent that long making a dress that I can't really wear. But today I'm changing that. We're gonna harvest the strawberries from this awful dress and make a better one for me to wear to my 30th birthday. All the strawberries are just hand sewn on, so I can remove them from the itchy prison and put them on a new dress that's a lot more versatile. And my birthday's in the middle of summer, so I wanted to go with really breezy fabrics. So I got a plain pink cotton and a pink cotton voile, but the voile quickly became the first problem, and not just because I'm gonna get yelled at for saying it wrong. I didn't like this pink. I'm a very picky pink liker, and this pink is way too blue for me. So I decided to do something I've never actually done before. Try to remove color from fabric. And let me be really clear. Most of the time, this is not something you can do. This only works on fabrics made of 100% natural materials. But this is 100% cotton, so I knew I could probably bleach it, but while I was looking up how to do that, I found this stuff called RIT Color Remover. Hadn't heard of this before, but I tried it, and oh my god, the second the fabric hit the pot, it was white. I thought I was gonna be able to just lighten the pink color, but at this point I was going to have to re-dye it. But at some point while I was deciding on that, I got convinced that I wanted this whole thing to be red on red, because that felt very 30-year-old lady. And I'm really glad I did, because it came out this gorgeous, mid-toned red, almost pink. So now that we have a red dress instead of a pink dress, I'm not even gonna use the pink cotton that I bought, and the base is going to be red cotton that I already had. So now I gotta cut out a bunch of skirts. I'm actually using a pattern that I developed last year. It's a pattern for a jumper skirt, but in regular people language, that just means a sleeveless dress. So I got all my pieces cut out of the cotton and the voile, and to no one's surprise, I flatlined all the pieces on my serger, and they're getting flatlined because the voile is sheer, obviously. It would have been a better idea to not flatline them until I had the strawberries sewn onto like the voile layer, but I don't want to have to make any decisions yet, so I'm going ahead and sewing everything together. But I've got all my pieces now, and I'm gonna put this together a little differently because I actually want to do an all-in-one facing and do the weird twisty-wisty burrito method that I've seen a bunch of people do but never tried myself. So first things first, I want to get the side fronts onto the fronts, but I do not want to go ahead and sew up the side seams. The side seams are not going to get sewn until after the facing is on. So I'm gonna get that front panel done, and then I'm gonna sew my side backs onto my backs, and then just do the shoulder seams, and I pressed everything. So now I have this, and let me show you the facing. So this is the facing. A facing is basically a partial lining. It's a way for you to get a bag-lined edge without having to fully line a garment. It's going to let me, in one swoop, get a clean edge on the neckline and on the armholes. Here is my actual pattern. I traced the pattern around the tops of it, but didn't trace all the way down to the bottom, and just kind of gave myself a swoop where I needed to, and that gave me this weird looking thing. I'm gonna put them right sides together around the neckline, I'm gonna pin them together around the neckline, and then I'm going to sew them together all the way around the neckline. Then I'm gonna open them up, and I'm gonna understitch the seam allowance to the facing. It's not necessarily necessary to do an understitch, but it does help keep the facing down better. But all you do for it is open everything up and sew all of the seam allowance onto one side. And usually you do it on the side that's not on the outside of the garment, so you do it on the facing. But with that done, we get to the really weird thing. They call this the burrito method. So the goal here is to get this sleeve hole bag line and that sleeve hole bag line. But if you actually maybe I could just, do I have to do burritos? We'll do burritos anyway, but this isn't closed in the back. Sarah figures out topology again, or whatever the math thing is. The coffee cup is a donut. Vsauce video or something like that. Yeah, I'm like 99% sure I could just put these wrong sides together, sew up that side, and then pull the back out of the front. But we're doing the burrito thing for no reason. Maybe my brain is not smart, but this is what you do. You get it laid out with the facing flipped how it will be at the end. You take one side of it and you start rolling it up into a little tiny packet until you get to the other side, where what you do, you grab this top here, so this is the right side, and you pull it around the burrito and you bring them together, grab your facing and put it over this extra stuff until you get that happening. So you end up with this thing. So what I'm gonna do now is very carefully sew these two pieces together and try really hard not to get the burrito in the way. So then you end up with this. So now what you do is you just pull this part out and look at that. Ha ha ha! You get a nice clean edge on your strap. So now I just gotta do that again. Whoop, whoop. I don't know what happened. This one came out and then this one is still backwards, but I don't know how I didn't pull it out right. What did I do wrong? I mean, I feel like this still works, but I feel like this is what I was trying to avoid, because I feel like I could have just done this without rolling anything up. We're fine, we're fine, we're fine. I gotta press this, but whammo bammo, clean seams. And we're not gonna do the zipper yet, because we're gonna wait for the skirts to be on. So the skirt's gonna be 2 layers, 1 cotton and 1 voile, but I'm not gonna flatline the skirts because we want them to be flowy and fluffy. But probably the most egregious thing about my original strawberry dress was that it didn't have pockets. So first thing I'm gonna do is do pockets. And that was the part where I have to explain something weird that has happened with this cotton skirt. So because I changed the plan to a red dress, I didn't actually have enough red cotton to cut out the entire full giant gathered circle skirt. The voile is the full giant gathered circle skirt, but this one, this is like a quarter of the gathered circle skirt. And then I have 2 other quarters. So this one is a 3/4. But because math is hard, the cotton skirt is going to be unevenly gathered. You won't really notice because the skirt is on the bottom, but basically it's not going to be as gathered in the front. And I think that will look pretty. And if it doesn't, I don't care because it's my dress. Pockets. All I'm gonna do is take 2 of my pocket pieces and put them right sides together with 1 panel of the skirt. I'm gonna get those sewn on, get my other 2 panels ready, sew one other side of the pocket onto each of those, finish sewing the side seams, then I'm gonna flip the pockets over, sew the pocket bags to each other, shove the pockets inside themselves, and press everything to where it looks pretty. And that'll be my pockets. But with that done, I've got some ruffles to do, and I already suffered so much for these ruffles. So the ruffles are as ruffles do be as they start, but they are just long strips of fabric. And I serged the top side of both the cotton and the voile layers. God, now I'm trying to say both of them at once. Anyway, serged the top of them. And then I did a double fold hem on the bottom. And if you ever do double fold hems and they look ugly, you should press them first because they'll come out a lot prettier. And do not listen to anybody that tells you that the bobbin thread looks bad when you put it on the right side. It is so much easier to aim your... Can you shut up? I'm talking about ruffles. It is so much easier to aim your stitch on the wrong side that it just doesn't make any sense, and no one can even tell that it's the bobbin thread. So f those people. Then I also went ahead and gathered all my ruffles. So my ruffles are actually a bunch of strips sewn together. So I have like 7 sections per ruffle. And if you have sections in your ruffle, or even if you don't, you should gather your ruffle in sections, because if you're doing it the way I am, I just set my machine to its longest stitch length and I did 2 parallel stitches across each section of my ruffle. The next thing you do is grab the bobbin threads and pull them until you get that fabric into a nice gather. Doing it in sections and doing 2 helps you not break the frickin' bobbin thread when you're trying to gather it. Doing 2 stitches also gives you a flatter area, which will help later when we go to sew the ruffle onto the skirt, which is what I need to do next. Here's my beautiful ruffle. So all I need to do now is take my ruffle and my skirt, put them right sides together, use a ton of pins, and then get all of this ruffle sewn onto all of this skirt. and I'm going to have to repeat the entire process, except now on a more delicate fabric. This is just supposed to be something for my birthday, but deciding to do the fancy kinds of ruffles, like there's so much simpler ways you can do ruffles. But I wanted this to be perfect, so I had to do it this way, and it takes so much more time to do it this way. Once I have both of my skirts, I am not going to immediately attach them to the bodice. The strawberries aren't even on there yet. But also, both of these are circle skirts. And a thing you have to do with circle skirts is let them hang for a little bit because they can end up stretching out on their bias. And that does mean that I'm going to have to level both skirts from the top. But with those skirts hanging, it's finally time to say goodbye to my strawberry dress. We are gathered here today to celebrate the death of an itchy garbage dress. Back in 2020, when Lyrica Matoshi first came out with her iconic strawberry dress, I wanted so badly to make my own in a fully beaded version. But like everybody else in the panini, I was not having a very good time, so I didn't do it. And then I ended up resenting the dress for being this trend that I missed out on. But after the world came out of its cocoon, and when my YouTube channel was just a little sprout, I decided to revisit the idea and actually do it. And the more I looked into the story of the strawberry dress, the more this project became my obsession. Can this stay? Do I need to pin this? I felt like I was creating a whole new genre of sewing videos, so when I put that video out back when my channel had like 2,000 subscribers, I was very disappointed, but not surprised that it didn't get any views. But then like a year and a half later, a different strawberry dress would cause this one's video to finally pop off and prove to me that it was actually a good video. And I could do this weird little combo where I talk about other stuff and cosplay. But when this video first came out, I was like, well, that was a bad idea. I'm never doing that again. But after the channel actually popped off, I ended up seeing other people do that same style. Deep divey stuff and sewing stuff. I don't know what to call it. And that's not me gatekeeping. That is me maintaining the legacy of this dress. This is a funeral. This pile of itchy tulle and shiny beads is an important part of my life and an important part of my legacy on YouTube. But at the end of the day, it is a non-functional piece of clothing whose only job as clothing is to function, and for that it must die. He who passes the sentence must swing the tiny baby scissors. All right, I'm taking this off. Basically, all I really need to do is carefully go through and remove all these little hand stitches. And honestly, if we lose a little bit of the tulle, I'm fine with it because wearing tulle is kind of miserable. And again, look at all the ripping. Goodbye, old strawberry dress. I am taking away the best part of you. Honestly, frankly, this dress is badly made. These strawberries are gorgeous and they deserve a much better home. The tulle can get cut as much as it wants. What I don't want is the original strawberries to lose any of their beading thread. So I'm gonna spend a couple hours cutting all of these strawberries off, and then I'm gonna figure out my layout for the new dress. And I'm pretty excited about that because another thing I wanted to add to the new dress are these fun leaf appliques. Now, I didn't make these. I just bought these on Amazon. I got like a big pack of them. I don't know how many I'm gonna be able to fit on the skirt, and I do wanna save some for the bodice, but I'm gonna get my layout all situated on the new voile skirt that I actually left hanging for a couple days to make sure the circle skirt got stretched out. And then I'm gonna start sewing them on, which I did live for my patrons. And if you wanna watch the live streams, the perk is available for all tiers, so you can get in for just $1. And here we have a naked strawberry dress. I do feel like it's kinda cuter without the strawberries. Anyway, I got all the strawberries sewn onto the voile and I went ahead and gathered up the top. I have not gathered the top of the cotton dress yet, because I'm gonna gather this one by the lazy lady method and just pleat it under this one. But because I'm doing that, before I sew them onto the bodice, I'm going to sew them to each other. And then I'm gonna take both of them, put them right sides together with the bodice, leaving the back open still. We're gonna get that sewn on finally. And then the last thing I have to do is the zipper. And I'm doing this one again with the apparently how you do an actually good and actually invisible zipper. So I left openings at the bottom of the skirt so the zipper can also go down into the skirt. I'm gonna take that opening and the entire back opening of the bodice and I'm gonna baste it shut with a basting stitch. So that's a stitch that is the longest stitch length on the machine, and it's just a temporary stitch because we're gonna take it out later. I'm then gonna press that stitch, get my zipper, hand baste the zipper into that seam allowance. Then I'm gonna take out the machine basting stitches and sew the zipper on with my invisible zipper foot. Yeah, so I missed an important part of this process in that before you do anything with the zipper, you're supposed to press the zipper teeth open so that you can actually get really close to the zipper teeth, which is the thing that makes it invisible. Also, I could not use my invisible zipper foot because I bought a very large size of invisible zipper and it wouldn't fit in the normal groove that goes in my normal invisible zipper foot. So I had to use my adjustable zipper foot, which also works fine. But anyway, it's not an actually good and actually invisible zipper, but it functions, and that's its job, and I can fix it later if I want to. But with that, my dress will be done, and I can wear it to my fancy 30-year-old lady birthday party. While this dress is way better than the tulle devil I made years ago, you don't have to look that closely to see the flaws. It's not perfect, but I had a lot of fun wearing it to my birthday party. I just got kind of lazy towards the end there because I think I'm a little burnt out on sewing. It's been a lot of projects the last couple months, but I'll have to get unburnt out soon because now I've got another, more important dress to make.
Welcome to my YouTube review channel, where I review strawberries. What's up, guys? What's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
Thank you. Okay, let's go.
Do you need to build a custom website for your space? Use Squarespace today with my code Spaceman, because that's who I am.
Really though, if you need to build a website, Squarespace is the all-in-one website platform. They make it easy to build a beautiful website to engage with your audience and sell anything from products to content. All in one place and all on your terms. With the new Squarespace Blueprint, you now have access to a guided design system. And you can choose from professionally curated layouts to make your website unique to you. Plus, Squarespace gives you access to powerful analytics tools to give you insights on top traffic sources. And if you're using Squarespace to sell products, you can offer flexible payments. You can take credit cards, PayPal, and Apple Pay in eligible countries. So go to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/SarahSpaceman to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And if you want to support the channel directly, you can check out my Patreon where you'll get some exclusive content. But if you're just watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sending the video to a friend or your mom, or subscribing, please subscribe, then you're supporting the channel too. So thank you. And hey, this is your very aggressive reminder to register to vote. And a big thank you to my newest big support tier patrons: Morgansire, Tita Mikos, Kelly, Oz, Solar Flare, Loki's Eclipse, JDX, Lily, Natasha, and Cole Cosplay, La Wolfgang, Colorful Twilight, Rizu, Taylor, Fail Girl Lover, Polycraftus, and Designing Chaos. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!